Well, I've been sitting here on this dock by the bay, watching my blue skies turn to gray. Didn't know if I should run or stay. So I pulled up Mike's weather page, 'cause Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. Well, I admit that I had one or a few, 'cause I was down and I was feeling blue. But then I clicked on Mike's fan page. I saw all my friends, now I'm okay. 'Cause Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. We all know Mike's a real fun guy. He'll track the storms as they blow by. But when the drunk donkey comes out to play, Miss Julie, take his phone away. 'Cause Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. Well, there's Louie and Hunter too, no telling what they're gonna do. You know he's got more than 1 million fans. Yeah, 'cause now Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away.
What's up? Good morning, everybody. That's a classic right there now. We haven't played that one in a while. Oh, now my camera's not working. We've had all kinds of had to reboot at the last second. Sometimes it doesn't work out too good, but I had 2 minutes to spare. My Facebook's acting up. I can't. My main page. Sometimes you get the little circles. Joel Harrison, what's up with that? I know. The good thing about wearing my dress pants is I only wear them 3 or 4 times a year, so I never really have to do any laundry. I only use them a couple times a year. So, all right. So what's cooking, everybody? We are live here from Oldsmar, Florida. This is the Daily Brew. We talk weather, talk about the tropics, talk about everything under the sun. And welcome YouTube. We got a lot of people over on YouTube now. We got a lot of people on Twitter watching us. We are also streaming live on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. So rock and roll, man. We got a lot of things this weekend. It's Friday. But we know we always say hey to the puppies. This is a sad day for little Hunter. Because little Hunter is getting chopped today. If you know what that means. Oh, he doesn't like that. So no more Almond Joy. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. You know the old song? Well, guess what? He's going to be a Mounds bar in just a few hours. No more Almond Joys. So, going to miss you, buddy. We don't get to pick him up till tomorrow. I know, man. Louie's going to go crazy. These two are inseparable. Good morning, Kitchen. How's it going, Judy Wilson? Let's see if he just falls asleep today. We'll just sleep with Hunter. This is what he does. So we'll just give old Hunter the show today, and he'll sleep. So everybody, wish him good luck. We don't want anything to happen to you, buddy. But it's time. I always hate letting go. His brother Louie will be proud. They'll be twinsies. All right, so hey, we got a lot of new subscribers. Welcome to our page. You know, we got a lot of things going on behind the scenes. We have a lot of perks and fun stuff. We have a little brew crew, and Shelly works on that really hard and working on some new things for the season. Good morning, Marcia. Good morning, Jay. Yeah, all nuts. It's the only thing that kept him looking kind of manly. You know, he's only 8 pounds, man. I was hoping he could, you know, but it's the best thing. Poor guy. Got a little bit of weather to talk about too, by the way. We'll get into that. Middle parts of U.S. We don't really have a lot of people watching middle U.S., so I don't get the numbers. So I know there's not a lot of people watching in the middle parts of the U.S. So I touch on it from now and again, but not all the time. So we had a really successful expo here in Oldsmar. We met a lot of amazing fans, probably 20, 30 fans there at the Oldsmar Expo. Had that Furman generator. The family that won it was very appreciative. They have oxygen machine, and they said they were just talking that they need a generator because they're worried that if they were lost power, they would lose, their oxygen machine. So it was a double win because A, they're looking for one, and B, they're fans of our page. So Furman, thanks a lot. That was a good thing. So a lot of good things. I shared the video in our brew crew by the way. So if you're in the brew crew chat room, you can watch it. So, and it is Friday, so we got to do a big shout out to ABC. If you're ready to enjoy the weekend, we're going to the Rays game Saturday night. So if you're tailgating at the Rays game, look for us. We'll be there Saturday. It's a 4:00 game Saturday. So we'll be there. But big thanks to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Obviously, we love them to death here. Florida, born and raised from the 30s. And family owned and operated. Big supporters of our page. Make sure you check them out, as they definitely support us pretty big time here on the page. And we appreciate that. Here's the weather for today. We'll leave this up. Talk about it. This is storms today, so everything the next several days is pretty much centered over the middle parts of the United States. So we got a pretty good hatched area today for tornadoes. Significant could mean an EF2 plus. So every time you see the hatched area on the SPC site, it usually means that there's greater probability for a higher end tornado like EF2 plus. So usually when you're in a brown 5% area, you might get a tornado watch. So I like using this map here. It's the tornado outlook map from Storm Prediction Center. Usually when you're in a 5% area, you'll get a tornado watch, or at least likely. So big area today. Tip of Texas there, Oklahoma northward for storms today. That's it. Everything's centered to the middle part of the U.S. Here's tomorrow. Storm sliding a little bit. That system moves a little bit to the east area along the Mississippi, going eastward a little bit. A little bit of tornado outbreak way north, kind of, you know, this time of year you get these outbreaks to the north. So we could have some tornadoes parts of northern Indiana and Illinois there, into even close to the Great Lakes there. So that's tomorrow. And then on Sunday, we got storms redeveloping back towards Texas. Another system coming. A little bit of energy left over for the East Coast maybe on Sunday. And then we go to day 4. We got storms that this system here that was developing on Sunday slides a little bit over. This is Monday. Little break on Tuesday. Then guess what? Another system comes around on Wednesday. So look at that. So everything is happening here for the next several days. A little bit of energy, like I said, on Saturday here we got to watch out for. So let's go back to that. But nothing on the East Coast. We have a lot of people watching on the East. There we go. Here we go. This is Sunday. So a little bit of action over for Sunday, but middle U.S. So there you go. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Ann. Air show tomorrow's a big day. Yeah, well, listen, Florida is back to summertime pattern. We'll get into that. Jeremy at Port Hunter, Jackson Kane, H-Town in the house, Swamp Princess. Hey, Melissa. Jeremy said the Northeast representing here. New Jersey, baby. How about that? Jersey Mike subs. Judy Wilson, thanks for the stars. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Jason. My coastal claims, buddy. Had an awesome time on the ship. Yeah. Brad said that a hunter sounds like a landed catfish, groans and grunts. So I always have to find a magic spot, kind of like a sleep number bed. Once I find that magic spot for Hunter, let's lower it so you can see his cute little face a little bit. Once we find that magic spot, you don't want to move because it's like he doesn't snore anymore. And I noticed he's like a cat because when he gets excited, he gets louder. He starts purring like a cat. I think he's got part cat in him. He will be looking. All right, so anyway, all right, so let's talk about some more weather coming up. I'm going to check a couple things there. So, morning, Pam Rogers. All right, so there's weather. There's the satellite. I always like to look at that. Here comes the sun, little darling. There you go. That's the sunshine coming up, and that's about it. We got a little frontal boundary. So all the rain today. I posted this earlier. Here's a cool rain map. I like this one on that I have one of my paid sites. But there you go. That's a neat little map showing you where all the precipitation values are today. Interstate 4 south again. Now we're going to have these little random showers. Yesterday, about noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, we had these little popcorn storms popping up. By me, we had rain here. We had rain. We had rain in Eastlake. They don't last long. They bubble up. They look, we call them popcorn. It's kind of like, you throw a bunch of popcorn kernels and all of a sudden they pop, 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 pop. So the radar yesterday looked like that. They had little popcorn storms popping up everywhere, and then they don't last long. So they're not washouts. Summertime patterns in Florida usually mean they come and go real quick. They peter out. It's going to last again today down in South Florida. A little bit of rain chance for the upper Gulf, but it's a cool map. Here's what I was talking about. Let's see if I can go back. This was yesterday on our popcorn storm map. So there you go. We had little popcorn storms popping up. This was about 1, 2 o'clock yesterday. Probably more the same today as we get into... and I posted this here yesterday too. This is interesting. Let me pull this up. This was National Hurricane Center. I need to find a way to link it. This was a PDF, so I don't always like to share a link to a PDF. But yesterday, the National Hurricane Center released their verification report for 2021. It's a pretty good report. It's big. Talks about all their storms. Another big news in hurricane news is they're shrinking the cone of uncertainty a little bit. I think it was like 60 miles. Let me see if I can find it here. Cone of uncertainty. I don't know what the hell is going to pop up. One thing about Twitter is it doesn't have much. Oh, there it is. All right, so there you go. Tracking the tropics. This is so they're looking at a 6% decrease on 36 hours. So our science behind the cone has shrunk, which is kind of cool, right? 5 day though confidence actually is going to get bigger. So outside that 5 day window, man, it's hit or miss. Anybody's guess. But as far as once you get in within 5 day window of the hurricane cone. That was news yesterday that came out. They're shrinking the cone. Kind of like jumping in cold water by the Three Rooker Island. If you know what I'm talking about. Oh, man. Hey, Christina Barge, good morning. I wish I could get him more in the camera here. We could, because he's so cute. Let me widen the camera out a little bit here. Just the only reason we're showing Hunter, by the way, is let's see if I can. There we go. That's a little better. The only reason I'm showing Hunter is that he's getting chopped today. And we won't see him for a day. They actually got to do a little surgery on the guy. So, hey, Vanessa, good morning from the Bahamas. We'll be talking about you soon. Joel says about time they updated cone. Yeah, they always do a reanalysis of their accuracy with the cones, and then they, the goal is to shrink the cone smaller and smaller and smaller, and that gives you, a tighter window where the eye wall can potentially go. Of course, the cone is very deceiving. The cone is where the eye can go. Irma is the best example ever, because Irma was so big that if you just focus on the cone, you didn't realize that so much action would happen outside that cone, and that's a big thing that they try to to let people know. You know, I'm trying to find up a good graphic here to pull up. Here's one of the latest ones. Let me pull this one up here. Copy image in. Let's see what this one looks like. So, let's see what this one looks like. There we go. There's a little cone. Can't really make it any bigger, but that's all right. So here was like towards the end. This was Sunday when the cone was down there by Key West, and they still had it by a major hurricane almost in Tampa. God, I forget about all that. So much focus is on the cone. I'm gonna have to put you down, buddy. I need my other hand. So everybody say goodbye to Hunter. Wish him luck. I guess I could kind of. All right. So everybody say, I'll see everybody Monday. Bye, buddy. He's a good boy. All right. So this is a little hurricane chit chat, but so you know the common misconception with the cone is so many people focus on the cone and they don't focus on the outside effects. One of the things I was sharing with everybody at the Hurricane Expo was this area right here got so much surge during Irma. There was people I shared stories with me that actually went to hotels in Brunswick and Savannah, and they woke up to surge with their cars underwater. You know, so the storm, you know, was talked about landfall, but man, it was so massive. It was still pushing in water off of the Atlantic that I don't think a lot of people anticipated. So we had watches and warnings up. Most people think of wind, though. You know, that's the thing. Sometimes I think we talk too much about the wind speed of what you're going to feel versus the reality of surge and water and inland flooding. But man, this area right here got hit really hard with Irma because of surge. And it was such a big storm, you know. So, little tidbit on that. But anyway, so again, the big news of yesterday was the cone will be smaller for 2022. So the uncertainty cone is a little more confident. So that's kind of interesting, you know. I like it. There's our buddy Sam Champion. He's a big fan of our page. Yeah. Here's that storm threat today. This is for Friday. Pretty high chances here just south of Omaha, Lincoln, Nebraska there, Kansas. So all the storm chasers will be hanging out there, Kansas City, Wichita. So, you know, good storm threat for later today. And that is Tornado Alley for sure. All right, so what else we talk about? So we got Tropics. Nothing brewing in the Tropics. Let's take a look at some models for fun. It did suck the water out of the bay. Kenneth, that was an amazing phenomenon. Amazing phenomenon. In fact, let me show you here something that I always love showing. Let's see if I can pull it up. What else you guys are saying? Ooh, man. Yeah, Kathy, no fan of hurricanes because of Sally. I hear you. Let's see here. So we're going to go to a graphic that I like a lot. This one. This is my favorite graphic of all time. My memories here at home. Hey, so listen, coming up too, we got a couple fun things heading up to the next month here. So I get to go to the GHC Governor's Hurricane Conference. That's Thursday, May 12th. We will be getting the Tropical Meteorology Award for 2021, man. It was a huge honor. So we will be the big one of the biggest hurricane conferences in the country, May the 12th. So that'll be coming up just a couple weeks, 2 weeks. And then June the 2nd, I'll be flying up to ORC and doing a nice presentation there too. So yeah, Chris, yeah. Hunter's going to come back as a cone head. He will have a cone on his head. So anyway, here you go. This is a cool graphic. Hey, Selena Evans. I use OBS software. It's free. It's phenomenal. The most amazing piece of software on the planet. OBS. And you can do all kinds of stuff with it. Love bugs. Yeah, I shared the love bug story. That was incredible out on the boat. But yeah, hey, thanks YouTubers. So yeah, what else we talk about? Yeah, Dodie, thank you, Dodie, on that. Hope everything goes well. He'll be a true conehead. Carrie, that's cool. That's, people we talk about evacuations all the time. And, most government officials, local fire, they leave it up to you. Nobody, I don't think anybody is ever mandatory. Most places say, hey, if you want to stay, you can stay. The biggest reason that city officials and government has to evacuate is because the biggest one reason is 911. If you need help, they can't respond to you. So they do it out of public safety because if the roads are impassable, they're flooded. Fire trucks is around 35 miles an hour. They're not even allowed to be out on the roads. So that's not a lot of wind when you're talking these big hurricanes. So let's take Ida for example. It was a major hurricane for almost 6 hours after landfall. So you could go 8 to 12 hours without any sort of emergency services on the road. So when you stay, you don't have any help, and we could have looting. You might, and you might need help. So that's where a lot of these private companies come in, or organizations like the Cajun Navy and Rescue 51. So they come in and help a lot of times, which is really nice because they can, help the first responders once they're allowed to get back out there. So, but yeah, and it is a headache, man. You leave. Here's things people didn't realize when they evacuated from Irma. One, almost every hotel is sold out. 2, gas stations are out of gas. Terrible, right? There are people stranded on the roads because all the gas stations are out of gas. Some evacuation places don't even allow pets, and that's a huge thing that you need to plan ahead. Find out if your local shelters can take pets. There's so much to do with pets. You can't leave your pet behind during an evacuation. But you got to bring enough food for your pet. You got to find a hotel or a place that you can evacuate with a pet. So you always got to have a plan where you're going to go. And then the last thing is coming home is sometimes a nightmare because traffic, roads are blocked, might not let you back in because roads could be washed out. So it could be a headache. Irma was a good example. People evacuating and the nightmare that they had. Finding gas, finding shelter, finding hotels, coming back home. It was just terrible. So, but good question about it. Is that Habib? I hope I said it right. How bad is storm season looking this year? Well, the official forecast is above average. We'll get into that. Let's just talk hurricanes for now. I don't know. This is my favorite graphic all time. One, because my daughter Emily's in it. She hates when I show it. But this was a great example. 2 storms. We had 2016. We had Hurricane Hermine. This is Hurricane Hermine way down here. Let me just put this right here. Make it look halfway good. All right, so Hermine down here took a path like this. I know I show this a lot, but it's really fascinating. Counterclockwise spinning of the winds with Hermine. It was a hurricane. Went to our north. But as you can see, it went way to our north, and really a couple hundred miles off the coast of Tampa Bay. But what it did, the counterclockwise flow pushed in water to Tampa Bay. And this is a good example of our dock here. That's about 8 foot difference, 8 to 10 feet. But there's our dock underwater. This just shows you the directional, what the directional flow winds can do to water. So this obviously is pushing the water into the bay. Then you fast forward to 2017. The only reason I bring it up, we had somebody mention when Irma blew out all the water in Tampa Bay. Well, it did. So when Irma came to the south, counterclockwise winds pushed all that water out of Tampa Bay. Crazy. Channel side, Davis Islands, everybody completely out of water. It was the craziest thing you ever seen in the world. And we saw here in Oldsmar. So a year later, same dock, no water. And that wasn't even low tide. That was just, we just heard it on the news about everything. So what's the season going to be like? All right, let's pull this up. Colorado State University. All right, here we go. So there we go. Hurricane outlook. This is always good. Have a mill. Good morning. What's up, Kenneth? She did suck the water out. Blew the water out. Big difference. So here's the forecast. Get this question a bazillion times to the season. So I do believe it. Used to think it was BS seeing all these seasonal outlooks, but man, I completely agree with them, what they mean. You have a 30-year history of storms, right? And statistics, I did go to college. You can't tell sometimes, but I did. And statistics was one of my favorite classes. It's all about numbers and averages and trends and outliers. And, oh, God, it's awesome. But you have a 30-year average. Then you have 30-year averages on water temperatures, 30-year averages on La Nina, El Nino, precipitation, dust. So when you have 30-year averages, this is the amount of storms in 30 years. That's your statistical mean. That's your normal amount of storms you're going to get. So basically, when other factors come into play, like La Nina this year, hotter water, just those two things alone makes the season more above average. That's it. Now, try to figure out where they're going to go. Impossible. It all depends where the Bermuda high pressure sets up. I don't think that's predictable. There are long-range models on high pressure systems or the Bermuda high, but I haven't seen any good evidence yet of how anybody really knows where these things are going to go. That being said, my buddy over there in Orlando, Eric Burris, he's big time long-range Tropics tracker, and they put out their seasonal forecast. I put it out there just because I did this little seminar for Florida people. But their number one hotspot is the Florida Peninsula. That's not official. That's not NHC. That's not CSU. That's just one forecaster's prediction. A lot of folks in Orlando watch him, so there you go. Second hotspot they predict would be the Carolina coast. But as far as numbers go, they are average. The average is 14 a year. They're predicted 19 a year. Average hurricanes around 7. They're predicted 9, and average major hurricane 3. They're predicting 4. So you can see how that makes sense, right? ACE is something they want people to focus more on. That's accumulated energy of the Atlantic Ocean. They have a lot higher ACE than normal. ACE can be more about the strength of the storms, and with the water being hot, remember the Budweiser's? Hotter. Kenneth, nope. The Weather Channel prediction has come out. I do like it too. The NOAA's not out yet. Soon. But the water's hot, and that creates more energy for storms. So, yeah. And the big news this week was the month of April, the water temperatures have really risen, or rose. Is it rose? Risen? How many of you English teachers are watching? Tell me right now. I need to know. Is it risen or rose? Risen or rose? All right. So here's what Philip Klotzbach. I hope I said his name right. Philip K. This is a cool map. This is your Anomaly Map. Anomaly maps are showing you colors based on averages. And this is just showing you from April 9th to 11th to April 23rd to 25th. The water has warmed up this much more in about a 3-week span. So main development region here, this is your main development region, and definitely the Gulf of Mexico is warming up. Pretty warm. Doesn't mean it's hot right now, but it's hotter than normal. And this is the amount of this heated up in a period of 3 weeks. So really fast warming. We're talking 3 to 4 degrees Celsius warm up in just 3 weeks. They talk a lot about trade winds are dying down in the Atlantic, allowing the sea surface temperatures to warm up. So that's just things they're watching. The quicker this Atlantic warms up, then definitely have more ability for storms. So, and like we talked about last year, the high pressure system was all over the place toward the end of the season. Once we had Ida, it seemed like that's not a good map. That was more Florida. Whoa, what are we doing? Actually, I didn't even go there. Ida was more here. But anyway, once we had Ida, the high pressure systems just started getting all messed up. I don't know what happened last year, but we had systems, finding gaps, finding holes. There really wasn't a well-defined high pressure system toward the end of the season. So once Ida came around, it just ended. We just had, very slow into September, into October. Everybody thought we were going to have a really solid end of the year run with storms, and it didn't happen, So here's another good map I like. I'm going to leave this one up and we chit chat some more. Pull this one up. I'm trying to learn more. More. Hey, Kim Pins, appreciate it. Second year Floridian. How do you like living in Florida? I love it. I'm born and raised. Born and raised. Risen. Thank you, Liz, Heather. I knew you guys wouldn't let me down. All right, so here's a cool little map. This is your. By the way, I got the satellite above my head. We'll talk a little bit of local weather, a little local forecast. I definitely like to do that. I don't know if anybody even. American English is relative. I'm trying. All right, so this is a cool little map. Let me get some coffee. I got to start drinking more coffee because I forget and then it gets cold. So you remember last couple years ago, we were doing our Tropics lives, and we get going, man. I talk in the morning, we talk at night, we talk on the weekends, we talk all the time. And I would, I don't know, I was battling between Starbucks and Dunkin', and I really didn't think about it, but I was bashing one of the two. I can't remember which one. I think it was Dunkin', maybe. I don't know why I love Dunkin'. But anyway, people are like, we work there, don't bash us. And then all of a sudden I got a care pack from people that worked at Dunkin'. And the same way with Starbucks. I got to be careful. But back to a funny coffee story is hot coffee's great. I love hot coffee, right? Iced coffee is great. They take the same hot coffee and put ice cubes in it. It tastes completely different. It tastes great. What is it that when your coffee gets lukewarm, it sucks? I cannot drink room temperature coffee. It's the same damn stuff. It's the same stuff. It's like mind over matter. But it doesn't taste good. Okay. More stories later. All right, so this is a cool map. This is your 30-year history of Enzo. This is La Nina years and El Nino years. So blue is La Nina years. That means the water. See the little negative? This is the water anomaly Enzo map, basically. Well, it's water anomaly in the Pacific, but their Enzo values are negative, meaning more La Nina. La Nina is blue, and La Nina is. In fact, I've got some great graphics here. Where are all my La Nina map? Right here. So these are some graphics I found. I don't even know how to give credit to them because they didn't have anybody attached to them. Just when you Google La Nina. But basically, when you have La Nina, La Nina, La Nina, you have less action in the Pacific, more action in the Atlantic. Now, notice this little area here. This is the area that they talk about less wind shear, right? No mention of this. So I think La Nina is a little tricky in the public eye, including my own. They make it sound like La Nina affects the whole Atlantic basin. But what I'm going to show you here, so when you have El Nino means you have more in the Pacific, less in the Atlantic, because you have more wind shear. But again, notice here, they're not really showing the wind shear here. And what that means is homegrown systems aren't as affected as much as our Cape Verde style systems that come across because they don't have to go through this big shear zone. They're more homegrown. And let me show you what I'm talking about. All right. So 2017 was Irma. Now, these little months here, this is August, September, October. So it's kind of hard to, that's peak season. But, look. We were kind of in a neutral Enzo stage right around the time of Irma, going into La Nina, right? So blue means more favorable conditions. Makes sense, right? Irma had a fairly decent shock coming across the Atlantic and ran into some favorable La Nina conditions. It was a bad one. All right, so fast forward to 18, and we had Michael. Michael was October. Now look, technically we were in an El Nino pattern in 2018. Pretty high values. But Michael formed out of that zone of wind shear that's typically shown where this whole Enzo pattern affects. So Michael was a homegrown system that basically was a tropical storm by the Yucatan, and outside of that zone coverage here, Michael formed about right here. So this whole area here affects more Cape Verde storms. Michael was outside that window. So my thing is, when I talk to people, what I'm learning is don't get so wrapped up in, because the news, including myself, says we're in a La Nina pattern. It doesn't mean that we're going to see like unbelievable storms and a lot of land activity. Look at last year, 2021. Look at this. The whole end of the season here last year was La Nina, and honestly, so was 2020. 2020 was a record year for storms. So 2020, favorable conditions, La Nina, right? We had the most amount of storms ever. We had 30 storms. Or that was just last year, actually. Let me go back. I get confused here. I can't remember. Here we go. We had 30 storms in 2020. Record year in 30 storms in 2020. Believe it or not, last year we had 21 storms. It was the third most active season ever last season. Everybody says last season was dead, right? Well, it was, except we went through 21 names and it was the third active season. Now, a lot of those were out and, harmless, but we had Ida. But again, the trend here is that we were in a La Nina pattern. So statistically, on average, when you have La Nina years, the increased odds of storms increase. And for this year, they're predicting La Nina again for us, which means we could have more named storms. One storm I have to bring up, I can't remember how to spell the damn thing. Joaquin, I think that's how you say it. How do you even spell it? Joaquin, was it? Ugh. Can't even remember the damn name. What the hell was it? Took me the whole time to figure it out. I don't even know. Well, anyway, it was 2015, I believe. So let's take a look at the season here in 2015. Yeah, Joe Queen. I don't know how to say it. Joaquin. Joaquin. So 2015. This was a rapidly intensifying hurricane. Went over the Bahamas, then it went back out to sea. But it was a major, and it reached 155-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, whew, just short of Category 5. It was the end of September and early October. And didn't affect the U.S., but it did have some people in Bahamas unfortunately affected. So there you go. That was 2015, right? Major hurricane, almost Category 5. Look at this. 2015, going back to our map here, 2015. The whole year of 15 was a El Nino, meaning less hurricanes, but we still had a possible Category 5 hurricanes. So again, don't get too wrapped up in it. Like I said, Michael was during a El Nino red time frame, and it obviously was one of the worst ever. 92, Hurricane Andrew, right around August here. It was neutral. So it's hard to get too wrapped up in that El Nino thing. It's just telling you that the conditions are more favorable, meaning more chance for more storms. And that makes sense. All right, so let's see, anything else cool we can talk about. I added a bunch of new maps. I was really proud of this map I added. This is a new one I made for local here. We have some history here in Oldsmar. We have a U.S. bank. I might be wrong. I don't know. What are we talking about? 16, 15? I think Joe Queen was 15. Make sure I'm right. Hey, y'all got a name right. What's up, Dottie? Hey, MT Mapes. Appreciate that. Sending me some stars. Good morning, Eric. What you got going on? Any car shows this weekend? Man, I want a Tesla so bad, but I don't want to lose my Dodge. A buddy of mine heard a rumor that they're working with Kicker, one of the big speaker companies, and they're going to sell. This is so great. They're going to sell a 12-inch double woofer set that points to the ground, and you can program your Tesla to have any exhaust sound you want. So you could simulate a 72 CUDA, you could simulate a Ford Mustang. That would be the coolest thing ever. I'm not getting rid of my Charger. I love it. That is an awesome car. What else we talk about, guys? Florida Days. Thank you for that. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, it's old, man. Everybody thinks it's new. I can't get rid of it. That's why I got to get another car. This thing's already got 60-some thousand miles on it. And if I keep doing storm chasing, it's no longer a family vehicle. It might just be the official storm chaser truck. All right, so a little bit of history here. I love this map. Then we'll talk about local weather, and then I'll be done because the only reason I do the brew selfishly is so I know what's coming up. Was it yesterday? Maybe it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I shared the HRR map, and I saw this popcorn storms popping up over us, and I looked at all the hours, and I'm looking at the precipitable water maps, and I'm like, oh my God, it's going to rain. And it rained. So I knew it was coming. I knew there was a chance. But I also knew it'd be gone. But unfortunately, we lost last night, so maybe it should have rained. Yeah, Bill. I did that thing. It's funny. My buddy programmed it to do the Knight Rider scene. It was really neat. All right, so this is some hurricane history here at home. This is really neat to me. First off, I promised Sarah that I would put her in one of my slides because I usually drag her and Emily when I do these presentations. So she was all excited. There she is. This bank, God, I love history. Look at these old cars. There's pictures of this bank with horse and buggies. Same bank, 100 years later. So, God, I hit that exit. I always do that. So this is the bank in Oldsmar, 1921. I gotta just leave my thing up. I'll just slide it over here. You won't see it. All right. So 1921. This is a bank, and this is the bank today, restored, almost the same, 100 years old. This is the top of Tampa Bay right here, and the 1921 hurricane came north of us, went to Tarpon Springs, had a 100-mile-an-hour wind. Category 3. Tampa Bay got a lot of damage, Tampa Bay. But here in Oldsmar, this is the bank right here. This is where it's at. So the bank was underwater, and we're trying to find out. Some people said it was 4, some people said it was 8. It was underwater. People were evacuating in the area, and they were all huddling in on the second floor. And so it's pretty good distance. A lot of homes here. So a lot of history with this bank. The bank was, underwater, and people were on the second floor evacuating the rain. And it's pretty far inland from Tampa Road. They actually had reports of 8 to 10 foot surge here in parts of Oldsmar. This was, back in 1921. This area here, there was a reported barge that crossed over Tampa Road and was in this Bay Arbor area. That was fascinating. What's really fascinating is, fast forward to today, this sign right here can be seen today. It's on Line Ball. It's past Racetrack Road. It's a real live sign that you see every day when you're driving. I parked my truck in front of it. It's still about another 6 feet above my truck. I don't know how that's even possible. But the water surge line right here in a possible major hurricane, this spot here where that sign is 2.5 miles from Orioles Park. 2.5 miles. 2.5 miles. Unbelievable to think that. 2.5 miles. That we could see water that high, 2.5 miles. So that, that's worst case scenario. Obviously, it's all about the angle. It's all about, angle of approach. And there's some more maps here just showing where it landed. 1921. What I thought was fascinating here, this area here I circled, this is the Hillsborough River. There was surge. So this map here was put out by the National Weather Service, and they estimated this. These are the real life surge numbers that they estimated for 1921 of what the area saw. 10 foot in Oldsmar here, 6 foot Clearwater Beach, 7 foot down here Madeira Beach, 7.8 down here Redding Shores area. 9.2 around Ruskin, so 11 foot here, so channel side. But the Hillsborough River was fascinating to me because they had all these river boats, and all of them were ashore because the Hillsborough River rised up about 10 to 11 feet because the water has nowhere to go. So if you're along the river, you have more threat to think about because that water doesn't have anywhere to go. It was 6 foot all the way up here. And that's what happened with New Bern back in Florence. Would be on top of the rainwater flooding. They had surged. Florence came in at an angle and it dipped down a little bit, and just that water pushed up into the bay. And New Bern had a lot of flooding, and that was because that water has nowhere to go. That's the worst case scenario in our area. So, and I use these worst case maps here a lot. I don't even know where it's at. There's one of them there. So these are worst case maps. We have another one by my house. This sign is a mile from the park. There's Emily. We have one of these water surge maps here by her old school, Forest Lake Elementary. But it's exactly 1 mile from the bay, and we still can see water about 6 foot tall here where I live. And so. And now there's new things called storm tide. So much as focuses on surge that you have to add in tide on top of that. It's not just surge, then you add tide. Surge does not take into account tide. So unfortunately, if you have a high tide, a new moon on top of the high tide, then you can really have 3 to 4 foot added to that surge value. So All right. Anything else? Brad, you're right, buddy. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. I know we start to lose people. Cool, Rob Williams. Congrats, passing the test. Isaac Taylor, Coneheads. Hey, so listen, the reason we're called Coneheads is we live and die by the cone of uncertainty, right? That's what started this whole thing. Coneheads. Our cone is shrinking. We have shrinking heads. Officially yesterday, our cone heads are now like, they're in a vice and now they're being squished. So take your cone head and squeeze them in, because the cone of uncertainty now is going to be smaller than it was in 2021. Not up to 5 days. 5 days, they said that they're going to increase it by a percentage point, which means long-range modeling is still impossible to predict. With all the science and models that we have in data, past 5 days can still be tricky. Because the official forecast came out, or the cone head adjustment, and 5 day is now 1% higher than average. So, hey, Eric, watch for us on the Rays game, buddy. We'll be there Saturday. They squeaked out another one. Brandon Lyle's got to get his butt going, man. He's not doing too good. Jennifer Thompson, thanks for the stars. Appreciate it. What else did I miss here? Time for coffee. Documentation. Fleece, correct. Megan, played with GFS this morning. We can take a look at that. Hey, it's very soon that we're going to be looking at these models. 100%. Tropical Tidbits, the place to go. But yeah, totally. We're going to be looking at frontal boundaries. That's probably what you're looking at. But a little too soon, I think, for something to be that close to the coast. Sometimes, I don't know. Still a long way away, 200 hours, 10 days out. But you're right. I mean, that's how they start. Typical May systems form from old frontal boundaries. So yeah, good catch. That's where they start. Old fronts. Old front. Let's look at rain real quick. I just want to get this over with. Here's your rain for the day. Okay, so obviously storms. We already knew all that's coming. But down the road today, we got a little bit of rain juice up here. This is noontime. We could get some showers in off of the Gulf of Mexico. We saw that in the percentage map. So down to Pensacola, Upper Gulf. Could get a little rain in off of the Gulf of Mexico. Let's just go a little closer to the southeast here. Take a look at the rainfall. So there's our afternoon storms. There's that old frontal boundary. So this is afternoon today. Look at that, from Tampa southward. This is 3-4 o'clock. Looks like they might start out on the Florida West Coast again. South Florida, anytime, any place. That's why the Everglades is so wet down there, because it rains a lot. You just never know when it's going to rain. But there you go. I-4 south. And that's typical. Tomorrow, more the same. Front looks like it backs up just a little bit. This is tomorrow afternoon. Rains could get a little bit more to the north tomorrow as our front kind of pulls up a little bit more to the north. All ahead of this approaching front. Here's that approaching front. This is Sunday morning. So there's a little line of storms coming in Sunday. Going to the storm prediction map, you can see this. This is the storm today. Here's tomorrow. This is Saturday. Now Sunday, you can just kind of get the idea that this front's right here. There's a new one starting to form, but this, frontal boundary is still going to be hanging on. We can see that here if we zoom out, look at eastern U.S. and just look at the rain map. You'll see this frontal line today. So here's your frontal line. Oh crap, clicking way too fast. A little bit of frontal line. This is Sunday. It doesn't look like much. But see all this moisture? This is what's happening. So here's today. Frontal system stalled out. You can see it. You can see it really good here too on this windy map. I love the windy map. But you can kind of see it. There's our frontal boundary. You can kind of see it with the pressures and the dips. There's our little frontal boundary. What happens on this today? What happens tomorrow? It starts to get pulled up a little bit as this approaching low pressure starts to pull it up. and this little system will start to pull up just a little bit. Winds will shift more from the southeast tomorrow across Florida. So tomorrow storm chances increase a little bit more north, and then Sunday too. Not bad, just a little more chances. And here's that system. Still a little too far away to really get too wrapped up in it yet. I don't want to get bitten by it, but I'll tell you, when is that? May 4th. That's a long way away. It's yeah, maybe that's a long way away. 10 days out. Too early yet. Let's take a look at some other maps. So there's your maps. All right. So we know we got that frontal line coming. It's gonna peter out by the weekend. This is Sunday morning rains. So Florida's just gonna be a little bit here and there. It's not gonna be anything too involved. All right. So let's take a look here at some probability maps. Start looking at some cyclone stuff here. We can just start to see what the heck's going on. See if anything's showing up. Nothing really yet, but it'll happen. And one thing you got to learn too about this time of year, the modeling really doesn't do you very good, because these homegrown quickie little systems pop up quick. So basically, what you're looking at more is weather patterns in frontal boundaries. So when you get these fronts die out, we showed it before. We still got lingering down here in the Caribbean, but these old areas that end up, that was some juice, down here. These are where the things start lingering. This front here, it's getting a push this weekend, so it's not going to stick around. But when you get these old fronts, hang out and decay, they call it. That's where they start. But I don't see anything really yet. There was more signature last week that we could have seen something, but we didn't. So, but it's not uncommon, like we mentioned all the time here. May is very common to get tropical systems. In May, it's not uncommon at all. Here's live radar, by the way. Pretty good little storms over there on the Florida East Coast right now. Like I said, later today, it looks like most storms are going to start popping early here, and then heavier concentration down south. Anyway, all right, King of the Beach fishing. Where's that at? Tampa. Ryan, you're good. No, you're not going to get rocked tomorrow, Ryan. Ryan, tomorrow's good. Tampa's fine tomorrow. Tomorrow's shouldn't be too bad. There's 9 a.m. That front's still to our south. I mean, the winds, the winds are going to be coming up from the southeast, so it's better for Tampa Bay, right? The heavier winds are coming in off the other coast, so it's not too bad a gust. I mean, that's pretty calm. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Nothing too intense. And usually the Euro is a little more aggressive than everybody else. So, here's tomorrow morning. I don't think it's bad. Maybe offshore a little bit, but not too bad. Yeah, you'll be all right. No, it might be a little windy, but strong east winds. Nothing that's those are gusts. That's not sustained winds. Seas aren't too bad, So I don't think things are really that bad tomorrow at all. Just it'll be windy, but no systems. That's what you're worried about, right? There's no organized systems coming. That's what you want. The normal winds and stuff, you can deal with that. Here's going into overnight tonight. This is where our rain chances are later tonight, and then we go back to tomorrow morning. Nothing really. So I think you'll be fine. Later in the day, you could get some spontaneous little showers. I mean, let's zoom in on. So waves look good. There's going to be a southeast wind. Get some gusts. Not going to be too choppy because luckily it's coming across the other side of the state. No organized storms. I mean, you might see a little water spout in the morning, maybe if one of these little guys wakes up, but I don't think that we're going to see much at all. Let's look at the higher. I guess we can zoom into Florida a little better with the 12Z just came out. We can take a look at that. So yeah, I think you'll be all right. You know, I don't see anything organized. Maybe later in the day we might see some action, but this is tonight, you know. But going into tomorrow morning, here's 8, you know, here's 5 in the morning. Most stuff's going to be on the other coast. So, hey, looks all right to me, you know. And here we go. Typical afternoon, you know, this is our summertime pattern. This is 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow. And not a lot of wind movement, so they're not going to do a lot of motion. But, you know, we could have, you know, more of the same. This is tomorrow. Could have some, you know, thunderstorms in the early afternoon. You know, they start to pop here about 1, 2 o'clock. Hopefully you guys are done by then, but that's, you know, normal Florida stuff. Nothing's organized. I mean, you can't pinpoint where these little guys are going to pop up. You just know the pattern's there. You know, there's moisture in the air. Anytime you get moisture in the air, right here, you get the little pop in here. This is precipitable water. That's normal. Normal. Things are normal. So anyway, have a good tourney. Alexis Slade. Hey, thank you. Drag racing. What's up, Tarbox? Sunday morning. You're fine, buddy. Looks like we're in an afternoon pattern here on the Florida West Coast. There's Sunday morning. There's 7 a.m. There you go, Tarbox, 7 a.m. Are you doing that down at Pine Boulevard? I heard a neighbor of mine ran into you. That's like really close to me. So. All right, so anyway, all right, that's a cool little thing. We talked about an hour. We love it. Remember, we do it all the time. We're going to be doing it daily starting May 16th. We have a calendar for our Brew Crew members. Shelly set up a Google Calendar. You can subscribe to the Google Calendar, a little perk for supporting our page, but that'll give you notifications when we go live. That'll also let you know when I'm not live, because there's going to be times I got stuff to do. But when there's Tropics are active, we go live a lot. I go live at night. We go live on the weekends. I'm also doing these little quickie 1-minute videos on TikTok and Instagram. They're actually getting really popular. I had 37,000 yesterday on this one. That was only 1 minute long, but it was a season update. So yeah, getting bigger over there. You know, more younger crowd, and I upload the same video to Instagram. So if you follow me on there, appreciate it. Do these little reels. 14,000 yesterday. Not too bad. Of course, Twitter's growing, and YouTube. YouTube's something we started last year, and we got a lot of people on YouTube. Appreciate that. So here we go. All right. Osceola High School. All right, that's all right. You'll be good. Osceola just beat us last night in our softball team. I can't say anything negative. I wouldn't do that. We have a lot of friends on that team. All right, so there you go. Hey, don't forget our fine friends here at Universal too, by the way. They sponsor our YouTube channel, and they are big here in Orlando, Jacksonville. They do the whole state of Florida, but they're really big in Jacksonville and Orlando area. And if you have any hail damage, roof repairs, roof replacements, they are a veteran-owned company. Love our page, big supporters of our page. Really appreciate what we do, and we'd like to pass it on to our fans that would like to support a good Florida company. So spread the word on that. They've been around dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of years, multi-generational company there. So give them a shot if you need any roof stuff done. So all right, we'll be back live Monday. Think of poor Hunter. I got to take him to the vet now, and he'll be a little lighter on Monday. Cool. Coco K for the day. Linda, you are one lucky lady. That means you're on Royal. We love Royal. Hint, hint. All right, be good. See you, Shelly. Have a good weekend. We will be live Monday. I guess there's some lobster fest tonight at Oldsmar we're going to. I didn't know, in our downtown Orioles Park. So that'll be fun. And we got a team bonding game at the USF game on Sunday. All the girls are going to USF softball on Sunday. So if you're there, we'll be there tailgating in the morning, and all the girls will be having a good time. So we got a fun weekend going to the Rays, and then we got a USF game on Sunday for that. And then we'll be back Monday for the Daily Brew. The Daily Brew. So see ya. Cheers. Have fun. Have one for me. Be safe. Don't get in trouble. Stay off the internet when you have one too many.